What is up, SmackNPie here, and welcome back to another Dark Deception video, actually chapter 4 video. Now today we're going on a small quest to determine all possible characters in chapter 4 so far. All the confirmed ones, their looks and designs, their attacks, and then a little bit of extra speculations on what I believe will be more characters as a surprise when we play those levels. This is going to be a 3-part series or even more as we learn more new information. So in this episode, we'll discussing everything chapter 4 level 1 related, so without wasting any more time, let's begin. Let's start with the most awaited level of all of Dark Deception thus far, and that is none other than the Nurses level, which is the first level of chapter 4. Nurses need no introduction, as any Dark Deception fan knows Nurses more than any other character. They grew in popularity quite fast, and thus leading Dark Deception team to implement some changes, such as introducing a new nurse character while keeping the old one, and of course keeping everything secret for surprise element, at least for now. We don't know where they will be, but we do know what powers we will be using, but it wasn't told directly from the devs, so they're really keeping the secrets out here, but for a good reason too. So with that being said, let's dive into the characters list. Firstly, before chapter 3 was even a thing, we found out that chapter 4 will have a level with nurses in it. It was found from game files and name section as well as their portal icon, but slowly we started to see things unfolding on their own as we found out more about them. Mainly that they will be the first level of chapter 4. There will be new powers for this specific level. There will be new location as always, which is really interesting. So who are going to be these characters? Well, let's start with the confirmed ones first. We as a community altogether found out the biggest thing of them all, and the first character of any future enemies after chapter 3, at least that's what we thought initially, which was the first look at our fat nurse. That is right, our first character of chapter 4 is this big fat nurse who's got a hoverboard of 1800s, just kidding, and a big syringe, as well as a giant medic bag on her head. Really learning some creepy things out here. This was then confirmed to be a reality when chapter 3 came out, where we saw after finishing the chapter that chapter 4's teaser was none other than this fat nurse, or as they would like to call it, big nurse, being on the main menu, as well as teaser for episode 4. Her role was changed from primary nurse to big nurse due to a lot of people getting these leaks before chapter 3, hence leading to Dark Deception team introducing a brand new character on its own within the same level. Big nurse role is unknown so far, but it is rumored and speculated, as we theorized here before, to be either a boss fight or showing up every once in a while, attacking and killing us with big syringe. Yes, literally killing us, no stun or anything. But if she's going to kill us, who's gonna play the stun part role? Well, I guess you know who that is. Everybody know who that is. Well, that's because there will be another character alongside, or maybe the main character of this level, level 6 to be exact, to do that dirty work. Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. But that character is none other than Reaper Nurse. Reaper Nurse was introduced as a brand new character following the design controversy of Big Nurse, which led to many people and fans actually liking this Reaper Nurse more than the first one. Fans then thought that Big Nurse was cut from everything, but don't worry, because fortunately, or should I say unfortunately, she wasn't. Matter of fact, she's still part of the story, and we'll likely see her shortly in this level. Also, just like Big Nurse, they will be carrying syringe or injection, maybe a little less impactful, still hurtful, but less damageable than Big Nurse's one. And with the addition of Heelys or skate shoes or whatever you would like to call it, this was such a relief. Heck, we even hear their voice for the first time by talented Tara Strong, who's got a really strong background in gaming industry as a voice actor. Their attack, apart from syringing you, is unknown, so is their role. However, what we do know is that they will be the first to greet us or flirt with us when we start the level in chapter 4. There's also a strange relation between Reaper Nurse and Malak. I wonder what it's about, but it is very fascinating. Now with that, it should be it for characters list, right? Fortunately for us, no. Or at least that's what I believe so. Which is why this conversation that you and I are having right now leads us to some unconfirmed speculations regarding more characters. Yes, more characters, deadly characters in this level. Now, since we're not aware of which location this level will take place in, apart from knowing Asylum as a strong candidate, mainly because of this location being in game files, we can, in theory, speculate other characters, important or not, being a part of this level. We know that this chapter is the hardest one yet, so that'll definitely gonna increase the number of enemies to increase the tension as well as the threat level. Only Reaper nurses and big nurse aren't the problems here, which is unfair, I know, Wins, don't do that to us. Which is why I believe there will be patients, many of them, in quantitative numbers, running around in the asylum. Some of them might be in their cell, and as soon as you move past their area or trigger a specific pattern, they will kick the door out of their cell only to greet you with violent attacks left and right. And this will be your opportunity to run, use speed boost, and most specifically use their telekinesis powers and abilities to trap them back in their cell. This is what I believe to be one of many ways to combat them and one of many mechanics of this chapter. I could be wrong, but patience will definitely gonna be a part of this level. Dead corpse of patience or mentally unstable, either way, destined to hurt and kill you. Some even say dead corpse or unstable patience, destined to humble you for what you've done. What do you think? And final character in the list for this level, in my opinion, would be the doctors. Now, you could replace doctors with so-called or many priests, as we are in Asylum after all. And this game revolves heavily around demons, cults, rituals, and we also made a video on this sort of thing yesterday. Make sure to watch that. You could use both doctors and priests as two different entities and enemies. This is really a weak theory. However, doctor as boss battle or doctors assisting beginners in the final showdown, aka boss battle, would be the absolute best way to use them. Doctors could also appear every now and then, such as beginners, or you could replace beginners altogether, save her for the boss battle, and use doctors for surprise attacks. Should there be a trigger system in place, such as triggering patience, or doctors could be the one to trigger patience in the first place. Imagine this: Reaper nurses are chasing you. You avoid them, move past, and make a fair distance between yourself and them. What happens then? When Reaper nurse fails to capture you, they trigger doctors. Doctors then appear with slightly larger damage and impact to hunt you down. This will make it even more harder, but let's say you avoid doctors and Reaper nurses as well. Doctors would then trigger patients from their cells, some of them with enough quantity to make you go crazy from all sides, and then you will truly feel like you are in crazy asylum with craziness all around you. This will be the time to carefully strategize your powers and attacks versus theirs. This could be very true for priests as well. They might not hurt you, unlike doctors, but they could be the one to unlock those cells, for as Doug is not realizing and understanding the wrath of demon's power, which in this case is Malak. This seems to be a fitting choice, in my opinion, for this level, as priest is someone who performs the sacred rituals of a religion. They also have other activities that include supernatural elements, such as possessing and sacrificing, just bouncing the ideas left and right, as this will cement and will show that the more story is progressing, the more it seems like there is a giant connection between Malak's pets, which are Portal's enemies, and Doug, which ironically is Beerus' pet, which in this case leads to a connection between Beerus and Doug. And if there is a connection between Beerus and Doug, expect Doug's wife and a daughter in the mix as well. And finally, before we wrap up the first episode, I would like to add one more thing, a big, bold prediction. I feel like this is where the effects of Doug's daughter and his wife will slowly or strongly start affecting Doug and his journey heavily from here. Nurses aren't someone to mess with, sure, but there's nothing worse for Doug than being reminded of who he was and what he's done to his family, especially his daughter, Tammy Hauser, who collectively, in theory, in this game's logic, could be more powerful than all of them combined. In a way, not really. It's because of her and the wife we are in this place in the first place. So she could single-handedly take out Doug's entire journey in one take. Will this be the first level where we'll start to see Tammy slowly appearing and interfering more and more with Doug's journey of fulfillment of his darkest desires, or at the very least lay out the carpet for the 10th portal, the ending of this story, which I'm confident from day one of who that one belongs to. Either way, I cannot wait for secrets in this this level. There has to be. There must be. This level is a massive story element in Doug's life. After all, he treated his daughter in an asylum to begin with. This is where his hatred started with his family. They can't let go of this opportunity. We need some distraction or some interference from Tammy or Doug's wife in some way in this level to start building the finale. All signs are pointing towards it. Or is it? Well, that's for another video. With that, that will do it for part 1 of all characters and possibly new characters in chapter 4. Tomorrow we'll discuss level 2, Joy Joy Gang, their locations, and everything you need to know. So make sure you are subscribed with the notifications on. From there, we'll move to scientific explanation behind the powers, and then finally the story explanation before we get chapter 4 itself. So let me know on a scale 1 to 10 how much you're excited for nurses and secrets in comments down below. With that being said, I'm Smack, and until next time, take care and peace.